You think boredom is a modern problem. Your phone dies. The Wi-Fi stops working. You've watched everything worth watching. Within minutes, your brain starts searching for something, anything, to fill the silence. Now imagine living 100,000 years ago. No phone, no books, no music player, no internet, no television, no cities, just you, your tribe, and a fire that slowly fades into the night. Here's the surprising part. That empty time may have been one of the greatest gifts our species ever received. Because boredom didn't slow human progress. It may have started it. For years, scientists assumed our ancestors were too busy surviving to ever feel bored. Hunting animals, gathering food, building shelters, avoiding predators. Every day seemed like a fight to stay alive. But that picture isn't completely accurate. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies discovered something unexpected. Many spent only a few hours each day finding food. The rest of their time was surprisingly open. They rested, they talked, they watched the fire, they wandered. In other words, they had time to think. And thinking changes everything. Imagine sitting outside a cave after sunset. The hunt is over. Everyone has eaten. The children are asleep. There is nothing demanding your attention. At first, you simply stare into the flames. Then your mind begins to wander. What lies beyond those mountains? Why do people dream? Where does the sun go at night? What happens after death? Questions like these don't help you catch tomorrow's dinner, but they help you understand the world. Some researchers believe this wandering mind became one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. Then something remarkable happened. Instead of doing nothing, people started making things that served no obvious survival purpose. At Blombo's cave in South Africa, archaeologists discovered tiny shell beads dating back roughly 75,000 years. They weren't tools. They weren't weapons. They weren't food. Someone spent hours drilling holes through tiny shells, simply to wear them. Think about that. If survival were the only priority, those hours were wasted, unless humans had discovered something else. Identity, beauty, expression. That single necklace tells us our ancestors were no longer surviving. They were creating. And once creativity appears, civilization is only a matter of time. The same pattern appears again thousands of years later. In Germany, archaeologists uncovered a flute carved from the wing bone of a vulture. It is around 40,000 years old. Someone looked at a bird bone and imagined music hidden inside it. No one needed music to stay alive. Yet music has followed humans everywhere ever since. Why? Because the human brain hates empty space. When the outside world becomes quiet, the inside world becomes louder. Modern psychology supports this idea. Researchers have found that people often become more creative after completing boring tasks. When the brain isn't constantly entertained, it begins generating its own ideas. Daydreaming isn't laziness. It's the mind searching for new possibilities. In fact, neuroscientists have identified a network inside the brain that becomes active when you're doing almost nothing. It activates while staring out a window, walking without distraction, sitting quietly, watching a fire. This network helps with imagination, memory, planning, empathy, and creativity. In other words, the moments that feel unproductive are often when your brain is doing some of its most important work. Ancient humans didn't know any of this. They simply lived it. Around campfires, they began telling stories. Not because stories filled empty time. Stories helped people remember. They taught children. They warned about danger. They explained mysterious events. They created heroes, villains, spirits, gods. Long before books existed, stories became humanity's first library. Every civilization on Earth began with people sharing stories in the dark. Then came another breakthrough. Play. Watch children anywhere in the world. Give them nothing, and they'll invent games. A stick becomes a sword. A rock becomes treasure. The ground becomes an imaginary kingdom. That instinct isn't new. It has been with us for tens of thousands of years. Play teaches problem solving before problems exist. It trains creativity before survival demands it. It prepares the brain for challenges that haven't happened yet. Boredom pushes us toward play. Play builds imagination. Imagination changes the future. By the way, if you're enjoying this journey through history, psychology, and science, consider subscribing. There are many more hidden stories waiting to be uncovered. Today, our world looks completely different. Silence has become rare. The moment we're bored, we unlock a phone, open social media, watch another video, scroll again, and again. Every spare second becomes filled. But here's the irony. Our ancestors used silence to invent art, music, religion, stories, science. Today, we often use silence to refresh a feed. Technology itself isn't the problem. The problem is never giving your mind room to wander. Because wandering minds build new ideas. Busy minds consume old ones. The next time you find yourself bored, resist the urge to escape it immediately. Sit with it for a moment. Take a walk without your phone. Watch the clouds. Listen to the wind. Let your thoughts drift. You might feel uncomfortable at first. That's exactly how creativity begins. The first necklace. The first song. The first story. The first question about the stars. They all began with someone who had nothing to do. Boredom didn't hold ancient humans back. It transformed them into the most creative species the planet has ever known. Perhaps the greatest inventions in history weren't created despite boredom. Perhaps they were created because of it. If you enjoyed this exploration, subscribe for more stories where history, science, and human psychology come together in surprising ways. And before you go, tell me in the comments, what's the most creative idea you've ever had while doing absolutely nothing?